Hi there. I'm Dr. Hannah Cole from the Prime Life Center, and I need to share something with you that most doctors won't talk about openly. What I'm about to tell you might feel uncomfortable at first, but it could change everything about how you experience your body after 60. Last month, a 64-year-old woman named Jessica sat in my office with tears in her eyes. She'd been married for 38 years, loved her husband deeply, but something had shifted dramatically in the past few years. Dr. Cole, she whispered, I feel like I'm disappearing. Not just the desire. My whole body feels dead. Like I'm becoming invisible, even to myself. But here's what I've discovered, and what I told Sarah that day. The mature woman's body isn't losing its power. It's actually transforming into something even more magnificent. The problem isn't your body. It's that nobody has taught you how to work with these changes instead of fighting against them. Sarah had been doing everything the magazines told her to do. She was exercising until she was exhausted, eating barely anything, slathering expensive creams on her face, and taking handfuls of supplements that promised to turn back time. But instead of feeling better, she felt worse. Her energy was gone, her skin looked dull despite all those products, and she had completely lost that spark in her eyes. What Sarah didn't understand, and what most women don't realize, is that after menopause, your body begins operating on a completely different system. It's like trying to drive a car while following the wrong instruction manual. No wonder nothing was working for her. I explained to Sarah that her body was now producing different hormones in different places. Instead of relying primarily on her ovaries like she did in her younger years, her body was learning to create energy and vitality through her adrenal glands, her fat cells, and even her muscles. But nobody had taught her how to support this new system. The beauty industry wants women to believe that aging means declining, that every year after 50 is a step downhill. But that's absolutely not true. I've seen women in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s who radiate more confidence, sensuality, and pure life force than women half their age. The difference isn't genetics or expensive treatments. It's understanding how to nourish your mature body properly. Sarah sat forward in her chair as I could see the skepticism in her eyes, and I understood it completely. She'd been disappointed so many times before, but I also saw a flicker of hope, and that's all I needed to work with, to work. The real problem, I explained to Sarah, is that most approaches to mature women's wellness are based on trying to recreate what worked when you were 25. But your 55-year-old body doesn't want to be treated like a 25-year-old body. It wants to be honored for what it is now. Wiser, more efficient, and capable of a different kind of beauty that's actually more powerful than anything you experienced in your youth. Let me tell you about Marcus, a 58-year-old architect who came to see me 6 months ago. He was married to a woman going through similar struggles as Sarah, and he was at his wit's end. Dr. Cole, he said, my wife Linda used to light up a room when she walked in. Now she won't even look at herself in photos. She covers mirrors, wears baggy clothes, and I can see she's miserable. I tell her she's beautiful, but she doesn't believe me anymore. Marcus loved his wife deeply, but he felt helpless watching her shrink into herself. Linda was 54 and had gained about 20 pounds since menopause started. But the weight wasn't really the issue. It was how she felt about herself. She'd stopped wearing the clothes she loved, stopped dancing with him in the kitchen, stopped feeling comfortable in her own skin. When Linda finally agreed to come see me, I could immediately see what was happening. She was stuck in what I call the comparison trap, constantly measuring her current self against photos from 20 years ago. But here's what I helped her understand. Comparing your 54-year-old body to your 34-year-old body is like comparing a rose to a tulip. They're both flowers, they're both beautiful, but they're completely different types of beauty. I started Linda on a completely different approach than anything she'd tried before. Instead of restriction and punishment, we focused on nourishment and celebration. Instead of hiding her body, we worked on rediscovering its new strengths and capabilities. Then there was James, a 61-year-old teacher, whose wife Patricia had become so self-conscious that she was pulling away from all the activities they used to enjoy together. She won't go to the beach anymore, he told me. She won't dance, she won't travel, she won't do anything where she might be seen. It's like she's decided that being older means being invisible. Patricia's story was particularly heartbreaking because she'd always been such a vibrant, outgoing person. She was 59, had raised 3 kids, and had been a dance instructor for most of her adult life. But menopause had brought changes that she wasn't prepared for. Not just physical changes, but emotional ones too. She felt like she'd lost herself. What I discovered in working with Patricia was that her body wasn't the real problem. Her body was actually quite strong and healthy. The problem was that nobody had taught her how to see beauty in maturity. She was grieving the loss of her younger self instead of celebrating the emergence of her wiser, more experienced self. Now let me share something fascinating that I've observed in my practice. When women learn to truly appreciate their mature bodies, not in spite of the changes, but because of them, something incredible happens. They start carrying themselves differently. Their confidence returns, their energy increases. They begin to glow from the inside out. This isn't about positive thinking or fake it till you make it. This is about understanding that your mature body has capabilities and types of beauty that your younger body never had. The laugh lines around your eyes tell stories of joy and humor. The strength in your hands comes from years of creating, caring, and nurturing. The wisdom in your posture comes from decades of learning how to move through the world with grace. But here's the key. Your body needs specific support to express this mature beauty fully. And this is where most women get it completely wrong. They either try to fight against their body's changes, or they give up entirely and accept that feeling vibrant and beautiful is just not possible anymore. Jennifer, a 56-year-old marketing executive, came to me with exactly this mindset. "Dr. Cole," she said, "I've accepted that my best days are behind me. I just want to age gracefully and not be a burden to my family." But when I looked at Jennifer, I saw so much untapped potential. She was intelligent, accomplished, had raised successful children, and had decades of wisdom and experience. The idea that her best days were over was absolutely ridiculous. I spent our first session helping Jennifer understand that aging gracefully doesn't mean disappearing gracefully. It means stepping into the full power of who you've become. And physically, that means supporting your body's new way of creating energy, maintaining strength, and radiating health. Here's what I've discovered through years of working with women like Sarah, Linda, Patricia, and Jennifer. There's a specific combination of natural ingredients that works with your mature body's new systems to restore that inner glow, increase energy, and help you feel proud of your reflection again. The solution starts with Ceylon cinnamon, exactly 1 teaspoon daily. This particular type of cinnamon helps your body use energy more efficiently, which is crucial for mature women whose metabolism works differently than it used to. Mix this into your morning routine by stirring it into warm water or herbal tea. Next, you'll add fresh grated ginger root, about a thumb-sized piece daily. Ginger increases circulation and helps your body deliver nutrients where they're needed most. You can grate this fresh into hot water for tea, or add it to smoothies if you prefer. The third component is raw beetroot powder, exactly 1 tablespoon every morning. Beets support healthy blood flow, which helps bring that natural color back to your skin and increases your overall energy levels. Mix this into water, juice, or a morning smoothie. Finally, add just a small pinch of ground nutmeg, about 1/8 teaspoon. This warming spice supports your body's natural hormone production, which is essential for maintaining that sense of vitality and well-being that makes you feel like yourself again. Here's exactly how to prepare this. Every morning, mix 1 teaspoon Ceylon cinnamon, your freshly grated ginger, 1 tablespoon beetroot powder, and 1/8 teaspoon ground nutmeg into 8 ounces of warm water. Drink this on an empty stomach, about 30 minutes before breakfast. Do this daily for at least 8 weeks to see the full transformation. The timeline looks like this. In the first week or two, most women notice better energy and improved mood. They start feeling more like themselves again. By week 3 and 4, there are noticeable improvements in how they feel in their bodies. Better sleep, more comfortable in their skin, that inner spark starting to return. By weeks 6 through 8, there's usually a significant transformation, renewed confidence, improved vitality, and a genuine appreciation for their reflection. After 3 months, these benefits become your new normal. Let me tell you about Margaret, a 62-year-old grandmother who had the most dramatic transformation I've ever witnessed. When Margaret first came to see me, she had completely given up on feeling beautiful. She wore shapeless clothes, had stopped styling her hair, and told me she felt like an invisible old woman that nobody notices anymore. Margaret had been through a particularly difficult menopause, gaining 30 pounds and losing most of her energy. Her adult children were worried about her because she'd become so withdrawn and sad. She'd stopped going out with friends, stopped taking care of herself, and seemed to have lost all interest in life. But Margaret was willing to try my approach, and the results were nothing short of miraculous. After just 3 weeks on the natural combination I described, Margaret called me excitedly. "Dr. Cole," she said, "I woke up this morning and actually smiled at myself in the mirror. I haven't done that in years." By week 6, Margaret had started wearing colors again. She got her hair styled. She began taking evening walks around her neighborhood. By week 8, she had joined a hiking group and was planning a trip to visit her sister across the country, something she'd been putting off for years because she didn't feel good enough to travel. 3 months later, Margaret looked like a completely different person. Not because she'd lost weight or erased her wrinkles, but because she was radiating confidence and joy. She stood taller, smiled more, and had rediscovered her sense of humor. Her daughter told me, "You gave me my mother back." What happened to Margaret wasn't magic. It was simply the result of supporting her body's mature systems properly. When you give your body what it needs to function optimally at this stage of life, it responds by helping you feel vibrant, energetic, and beautiful from the inside out. The most important thing I want you to understand is this: your mature body is not a problem to be solved or a decline to be managed. It's an evolution to be celebrated. Every line on your face represents wisdom earned. Every change in your body represents experiences lived. The key is supporting your body so it can express its mature beauty fully. I think about all the women I've worked with over the years. Successful professionals, devoted mothers, caring grandmothers, creative artists, community leaders. Each one came to me feeling like their time had passed, like they were supposed to just accept feeling invisible and unimportant. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Your mature years can be the most confident, vibrant, and beautiful time of your entire life. Not because you're trying to recapture your youth, but because you're finally ready to embrace the full power of who you've become. You have wisdom now that you didn't have at 25. You have self-knowledge, life experience, and a depth of character that can only come with time. The natural approach I've shared with you works because it honors where you are now instead of trying to take you backwards. It supports your body's current needs instead of fighting against its natural changes. And it helps you step into this next phase of your life with pride, confidence, and genuine excitement for what's possible. You deserve to feel beautiful. You deserve to feel proud of your reflection. You deserve to walk into any room with confidence, knowing that your mature beauty is powerful, valuable, and absolutely radiant. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Here for your wellness journey, Dr. Hannah Cole Prime Life Center.